Resilient Risers, good evening to you all. Welcome to another segment of Poetry and Perspective with Placide. It is always a pleasure to be here in your audience, to be in your presence, and to bring to you the issues that matter. For those of you who do not know me, I am the beautiful Cindy Placid from the beautiful Caribbean island of St. Lucia, and I am your kind hostess and founder of Poetry and Perspective with Placide. Now, before I continue, let me make sure that my viewers on Facebook and on YouTube, as well as Instagram, are able to view this live. So give me about a minute, less than that, okay? All right. Okay, we are here. Okay, my resilient risers. It is a rainy day in Georgia. Yes, it is. It's really rainy out here, and I hope that it doesn't mess with my internet connection because every time it does, that happens. But we pray we're not going to put it into existence. We're going to let the rain do its stuff, okay? And hope that everything goes on well tonight without any hiccups from the rain. Okay, my resilient risers. Again, I am your kind hostess, Cindy Placide. I'm from the beautiful Caribbean island of St. Lucia. So to all my St. Lucian massive, all my people in St. Lucia, from Castries down to Viewfort, from Gozile across to Denry and Labrie and all of these wonderful places. I thank you so much for viewing Poetry and Perspective with Placide. Bonsoir tout le monde. From the Caribbean chain of islands to Europe to the UK, Ghana, Africa, all over Africa. My resilient risers all over the world, Martinique, and everywhere else. I welcome you to Poetry and Perspective with Placide. You know, Poetry and Perspective with Placide's motto is let your voice be heard. Okay. And we give entrepreneurs, artists, poets, writers, and people of like minds like myself a chance to promote their work and to add their story and to share their experiences with the viewers so that people can understand their life and can be inspired and motivated by their story. Experiences can shape us in ways that we do not even think that it does. And so, this is what Poetry and Perspective with Placid is all about. I am a three-time poet, author, advocate. I advocate for mental illness and suicide. I advocate for autism. I advocate for dwarfism, domestic violence, pregnancy, child loss, and I bring awareness to a whole host of other issues that matter, okay? And here at Poetry and Perspective with Placide, we want to make it fun and exciting for everybody. And we don't discuss politics and religion here because I believe everything has its time and place. So we don't discuss politics and religion. We don't want any explicit language or foul language or harsh things on this show because we want this to be as comfortable, make this as comfortable as it could be for everyone who graces my show or sees my show online. Okay. Now, I would like you guys to share my lives because all the information and all the experiences we give can help somebody else. So share this live. There's a lot of information packed in these lives. So share them, subscribe to my page. And also, I forgot what I was going to say. You know me, I'm going to be me as a whatever day or time it is, I'm going to be me. But I actually forgot what I was going to say. My mind just went blank. Okay. So tonight we continue with our theme of autism awareness. And this past couple of weeks, we've had a great set of people on the show, and the experiences have been mind-blowing. But tonight we also have another beautiful mom who's going to share her autism experience. And we're just going to have a conversation with her. Two girls sitting in, just sitting and just vibing and giving you all a more in-depth view of some of the things that autistic parents go through, and just to shed light on the topic even more, bring a more awareness to it, and to help you understand that not every situation, not every child is the same, and not every situation is the same. Okay, no matter whether or not the child is on the spectrum, each parent and each child faces a different set of challenges. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to bring my beautiful, beautiful sister queen and friend on here, Miss Lisa Saint-Just Baptiste. Hello, Queen.
Good evening, Cindy. Good evening, viewers on YouTube, Facebook, and everywhere.
Thank you so much for being here and put your perspective with Placide. How are you?
I'm doing good, and thank you for having me.
It is a pleasure. You know, I get excited when I have to have my autism parents on because I know it is something that we all can relate to. We relate to our experiences and what we go through as autistic parents. And I just want to commend you and applaud you for just coming from work and you landed in that chair. So I thank you so much.
Welcome. You.
How is your baby doing?
Oh, he's doing fine. Well, he's doing okay. He's battling
Okay.
with allergies. It's that time of
Oh,
year.
that time of the year. No, my son don't even want to go outside except to go to school and to come back because the allergies are so bad.
So bad this year. So,
Yes,
but
yes.
other than that, he's doing much better today.
That is good. That is good. Awesome. So Lisa, I was looking at your glasses. I'm really feeling your glasses. When
Glasses fire.
when we when we when
I'll
we
send you the
when we go
details.
on, I'm going, oh my gosh, I love those glasses.
I'll send you the details, definitely.
So, before I continue to say hello to our viewers who are on here so far, Miss Trisha Jabatis, hello, how you doing? And Miss Rumelia. Miss Rumelia, I would like you to call me. I need to talk to you about something. I'm sorry I'm doing it on my live, but I know I'm going to forget, so I have to tell you that. Please call me, okay? I'm gonna leave you my number, but later I'll send you a message. Okay, guys, I got excited because that's my former teacher. So listen, we have been to this journey on this journey with autism, haven't we?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
And a lot of people are still in the dark, no matter how. And now we know that it is widespread. Autism is very widespread. One in, I think, 32 or one in 36 children are being diagnosed with autism. Are being diagnosed with autism, and that's a very staggering number,
It is.
statistically. Yeah. So tell me about you. Tell me where you from. I know where you told me you were from, which gave me a really good laugh. But tell us where you from. Your little, just a little background about your upbringing. Of course, I want to know. You know, we like food. I want to know your favorite food.
Want to know my business?
Yes.
So, of course, my name is Lisa. I was born in St. Lucia, born and raised in St. Lucia. Um, what else about me? I have three children, one 25, the other 16, and my last one who is my baby and who is on the spectrum, who is 10. I also have two grandkids, two boys. What else about me? My favorite food. Oh my God, girl, I love bread.
You know, you mean the local bread or just bread on the whole?
As long as the name is bread, I'm in. I'm
Okay,
in,
and
I'm in, I'm in, I'm in.
okay,
Yes, I love bread.
wonderful.
Um, what else about me? What else? What else? What else about me? I love to sleep.
You love to sleep.
Um, I think I am very jovial. I don't smile a lot, but
Okay.
when you do get to know me, you know that I can be a clown.
Yes, yes. Okay, wonderful. And Lisa, I think you and I have met. I think we met twice. Is it twice or one time?
Once when we went to,
Once,
when
yes.
we
We
went to
met
dinner.
one time.
Mhm.
Yes, yes. And I wish you could do that again because that was such a fun night for me.
It was. It was.
Yes.
It was
Yes. So
absolutely fantastic.
yes. So I want to just segue right into the conversation because I know that it's Autism Awareness Month, and then we face our challenges. So I would like to ask you, starting off, when did you first find out that your son was autistic, or he was on the spectrum?
Well, the first time it was brought to my attention, he was about 2,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought, no, that could not be, because although he was not reaching his milestones as fast as my other 2 children,
Mm-hmm.
there was signs that he was reaching some of his milestones. He had a few
Mm-hmm.
words until he turned 3, and
Mm-hmm.
those words became less, and there was less words and more grunting.
Mm. I think that was the situation for me as well, because Noah was really he started to say some things. He started to
Mm.
say dada. He started to eat his food, but then he regressed. So what was that moment like for you, seeing that he had something was off? You couldn't put your finger on it. What was that moment like for you when you were finally told, okay, he may be on the spectrum or he's on the spectrum?
I thought it was the end of the world, because, of course, I had never dealt with or maybe even known somebody who was on the spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt it was the end of the world. I thought, okay, what did I do? What did I do wrong? Did I do something during my pregnancy that may have caused this? And I kind of went somewhere, in a really, really, really dark place, because when I did get the formal diagnosis, it was 2 days before Mother's Day. So I really felt like the worst mother there could be. I felt alone because, like I said, I had at that time I had no idea so many other parents were going through exactly what I was going through, and who had maybe been through similar experiences, feel similar emotions that I was feeling at the time. So I
Mm-hmm.
did feel very alone, um, and it was a lot of self blame of what I could do, and I also started to treat my son like he was an egg. So I didn't allow him to do this. I didn't take him to certain places because I felt, okay, he wouldn't be able to adjust. Now, mind you, there were places that I had taken him before his diagnosis, but I just
Mm-hmm.
felt, okay, now I need to protect him, and he was my little egg that
Yes.
I had to
And I
protect.
and I think that we tend to do that a lot when we find out that about the diagnosis, because you're not alone. When I did find out about Noah's diagnosis, I like I said, I broke down and I cried, and I started really treating him like a serious, like you said, like an egg, like it almost like he became so fragile to me, like if he fell he was gonna break.
Yep.
And when he started to exhibit certain symptoms, like he didn't want to go certain places because of the noise or because of something, um it made it hard to take him out. Made it really hard.
Well, for me, my son was afraid of the subway. And for anybody who may be on the live who knows my son now, you'll think, but what? He's a whole train fanatic. A few years ago, that was not the case. So there was a Saturday. I thought, you know what? Let me start taking him to the trains, onto subway more, to go onto trains. And we went to 42nd Street.
Mm-hmm.
It was busy. It was very crowded. There's so many people there. It was just very noisy. There was music, and when that train was approaching the station, my child let out a scream like it was somebody was killing him, and hid behind one of the big garbage bins at 42nd Street. So the two of us, so I ran after him, and the two of us are sitting behind a big bin at 42nd Street, and everybody's looking at us like, who are these two crazy people? And he's screaming, and I'm trying to calm him down. I literally had to lift him up to bring him on the
Mm-hmm.
train for us to get home.
What? So how long did it take you to really get him away from behind that trash can?
We spent about a good hour there. It's
That's
about an
about
hour,
it.
about a good hour, and And like I said, I my legs got tired after a while, and I just had to literally lift him up to bring him to the onto the train. There was another day I remember I was going out with a friend, and we got to the train station. We weren't going far, and he was so afraid. His eyes got red, and he was just literally shaking. So she put him on her back and carried him up the stairs.
Wow.
Yeah. So now I think if I say we're gonna pack up everything and live on the train, he'd be happy.
I understand those different transitions. For my viewers, I want you to guys to understand when our children are having those meltdowns because of certain things that they cannot tolerate, it's not for a few minutes. It may be an hour, it may be 2 hours. You're stuck in the same place, just trying to get that child to calm down. And in the process, you're a human being. So you get tired, you get frustrated, but you cannot fault the child because they are having it worse than the parent because we can understand ourselves in that situation, but they're trying to figure out themselves. It is overwhelming for them, and probably it could have been the sound of it could be a number of things we cannot tell. It's just that we know that for whatever reason at that certain point in time, the train was the thing that was triggering him and he could not take it.
And he couldn't verbalize and say, well, I do not like the noise. So it was something I had to really read his mannerisms and
Mhm.
listen to what he was saying without having words. Pretty much,
Mhm.
that's what it was.
Yeah, and that's where we become their voice because we have to, as parents, we have to figure it out. As there are some children, autistic children, they can say a few words, they can speak, but it's harder when they are non-verbal.
Yep.
Then you start to play, you have to figure it out,
You
and
figure it
you
out.
may not figure it out right away.
And there's a lot of, and like I said, remember I said he started grunting.
Hmm.
So, so what do you want? It's like
Yes,
there
yes.
were days that I think I mean, of course, not I think. There were days I was just frustrated and like, I would just put down everything and then you just pick whatever you want because at this point, like, I just can't be bothered. But then I feel bad. Okay, yes, I did that. But there were days, and I think I had the patience of all the angels and saints and everybody in the world. I went through the process, but it's not one of the easiest things. And I'm going to say that there, if you notice that your child is having an issue with speech, don't be embarrassed to get that intervention. The earlier, the better.
Hmm. Say that again for them to hear. The earlier,
The
the
better.
better. Because as they grow older, it becomes hard.
It becomes harder.
It becomes harder. So, Lisa, now that you have the diagnosis and then you are basically learning, because not all the children are the same, you're basically learning your child, learning how to adjust to things with him and how to navigate him through that autism. What are some of the biggest challenges you faced?
Eating. Well, of course, the speech when he had no words.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and because sometimes he could not verbalize, then he acted out and sometimes he got a bit violent.
Mm-hmm. And when their violence is not just because they are bad kids.
No, no, definitely not.
It is the anger coming from the fact that they cannot tell you how they are feeling.
Mhm.
They cannot tell you what they want, what's bothering them at that time. So they channel it through aggression and
Aggression.
anger. Yeah. And it was I could not understand Noah, and it was one time It was so bad at school. They had to refer me to the Marcus Autism Center in Atlanta, and that care worker from Marcus, she taught me a lot about Noah, but she also taught me how to have boundaries with him.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have boundaries with them, as they are going to walk over you because they're smart.
Chaos. And that is what pretty much my issue was. So, like I said, I treated him like an egg
Hmm.
for a long time. So, boundaries were not set. But then the older he got, and I had to start to set boundaries. So that is where we started to have that friction.
Hmm.
Yeah, pretty much. So
They
now
don't like that.
we were a little better at boundaries. I would say a year ago, he
Hmm.
would be literally sitting here on with right with me.
Wow.
Yeah. Now I can say, okay, I'm going to have a meeting. I need you to go to the room, and he will go.
And those little wins, those little, just those little achievements are big win for us parents, autistic parents.
Exactly. Because
Because
if
people,
not,
go ahead.
sorry, because if not, you are going to burn out.
Hmm.
I love my son, but I do not want to see him every second of the day. I don't.
Lisa, I thought I was the only.
I remember telling him once, I'm in the bathroom. I'm like, I need privacy. So he comes into the bathroom and closes the door. That's how there were no boundaries.
Hmm.
And that's when I tried to at least, put in some
Hmm.
boundaries. There were none. He would come into the bathroom, close the door, and sit and
And
wait
like, I'm gonna be in your face.
and wait and wait. I used to call him my shadow,
Uh, wow.
So setting boundaries, I'm not saying that you have to push them away or not want to be around them ever. No. But
Hmm.
as a parent, whether mother or father, you need it is for your benefit, it's for their benefit, it's for the benefit of the world because you need your you time. You need to be able to sigh. You need to be able to sit on the toilet and cry if you need to because you yourself are overwhelmed with all what has happened throughout the day. You need your me time.
Yes, it is important. I remember there was one day Noah was just like, he was like really for the whole day. I don't know what agitated him. It was a day that I call it the day autism won.
Oh yeah, I've had a
Autism
few.
won that day.
I've had a few.
And I sat there. I think that day pimples grew on my face. I don't know what it was. He wouldn't let up for of a whole 5 hours. We were just back and forth, back and forth. I was drained. And
Yeah,
when I finally couldn't take it anymore, Lisa, I locked myself in my room. My room has its own bathroom. I locked myself in my room, in my bathroom. And I sat there and I just cried because I was emotionally, physically, mentally drained. I couldn't take anymore.
I can relate.
So
I can
that's why we need
totally
our
relate.
me time.
You do.
And so it is it is a task. It is a really heavy, I want to call it, it's a very heavy load to carry to have a child with a disability, not just autism, a
Mm,
dis.
well, yeah. I don't really like to call it disability because when I think of a disability, I think of the egg.
Yes.
I think of
Oh
having
yeah, okay, yes. You can
so
break.
I mean when I really started to do the work and read and
Mhm,
do the research, every day you
mhm.
learn something new.
Yes.
And I realized, but no, he's not disabled. He has a different ability. He may not
Yes.
learn how Jack and Jane may learn.
Mm-hmm.
He will learn differently. Now, what Jack and Jane may
Mm-hmm.
struggle to learn, he knows. So if you need to
Yes.
know what bus to take or what train to take to get off at which stop, that's I have a walking map at my home.
Oh, you too. Okay, we'll have to put them in place together.
I mean, it's so interesting that I think today's Thursday, 2 days ago, the president
Mm,
of the MTA visited his school and
mm.
he got an award.
Wow.
So that just goes to, I mean, when I tell you I have a walking map, a walking.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
So it's I like to call it a different ability. They just
Yes.
learn differently, and that's
It
what
is
it
a different ability. So I'm going back to the challenges again because I want people to understand that they may see your child is excelling in school, you know, they are learning differently. But what was the biggest challenge you ever faced with him? What was the biggest thing that you ever faced with him?
Oh my gosh, the biggest. Um, I remember before we got diagnosed, so we would have to do homework, and my son would cry and cry, and I'm like, but you know what to do, just get it done, and he would cry and cry and cry and cry because he didn't. I guess maybe how I was bringing it forth, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe he just did not get it, and there would be so many tears, and so that was one of our major challenges.
Mm-hmm.
That was one. My son had no friends for a while because he always kept to himself, I guess, because he somewhere in his mind he felt he was different, and all his friends were able, schoolmates were able to talk, so he was always by himself, playing with a truck or a train or something, and just literally by himself. So that for me was, that was tough. It was a bit tough, um, that was a bit tough. Another thing that was a big challenge for me, hmm, was learning to accept him as he was and as he is, um, and not thinking that is he should be doing what my other two kids were able to do at his age.
Mm-hmm.
So whereas my daughter, for example, at 4 years, she was building puzzles and doing all kinds of stuff like that. I at one point I expected him to be able to do that kind of stuff, and that
Mm-hmm.
is not his forte.
Mm-hmm. I
Whereas
understand.
they may have had struggles with writing. I remember my first son used to struggle to write the S.
Mm-hmm.
My last one, perfect penmanship.
Wow.
Perfect penmanship. So
Mm.
for me, I had to learn to meet him where he was, and yeah, so that was one of my biggest challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Not comparing him with others, and oh, but so and so is also autistic, but so and so can do X, Y, Z, and no, everybody, everybody is different.
And I do not like it when people say that because I think as parents with a child with autism, it is cognizant. It is up to us to do our research because the doctors are going to tell you one thing. Yes, there may be a broad. They may generalize information for us, but
Hmm.
each child is different.
Very much
I
so.
could, yes, Noah has autism, your son has autism, but their level on the spectrum is different.
Totally
Their
different.
understanding, the way they react, the way they interact with other people is different.
Hmm.
Now, Noah is a walking map as well. But he also will decode every password I have on my phone. I can't anymore. That's why I put my fingerprint. Every password I've had on my phone, I don't know how he does it, but he also like I said before, he has that the doctor. diagnosed with something that's on the spectrum as well, that is very
Mm,
rare. It's called hypolexia. So
mm,
the his psychologist told me that term on the spectrum, I forgot the word I wanted to say, but hypolexia, normal, higher than normal ability to understand letters and numbers rather than spoken words. So she told me this is the reason why he can just decode anything like that.
oh wow,
Decode.
that's that's amazing though.
Yeah.
I mean, for you, maybe irritated because he gets into your business, but you never know
I,
later on what he can use that skill to do.
yes. And sometimes when I'm on my phone, now I have both my thumb and my password. So in case my thumb don't work, my password. So he'll be like, I'm going like, no. You trying to figure out what I'm doing? No. So there are times if he cannot, he will go and try to unlock my phone, and he go like, okay, he don't want to decode it. He will literally pull my finger for me to put my finger on the
Because he
thing.
knows.
Yeah, but they're very intelligent
Very.
children. And I'm trying to put this in the right way. A lot of times people on the outside looking in, they see that child growing and achieving something. And they don't understand that every little, and I said it already, every little achievement is
It's
a
okay.
cause for celebration. And I remember when Noah took his first step. I remember when Noah ate a different food for the first time.
Girl.
You don't
Listen,
know.
that is like a big, big, big celebration
Mhm,
because I my grocery list
mhm.
every week must include chicken nuggets. I've been buying chicken nuggets since like about 10 years now, 9 years, 12, about 8 years now. Must have chicken nuggets. So the day he asked me to try a fish cake and he ate it, I almost passed out. I called
I
everybody. If I'd known you at the time, CDR, I'd call you. I called
know.
everybody that he ate a fish cake.
Because when they stick to one thing,
It is
that's
good.
what they will stick to.
It is that.
There's a lady who said the daughter he's been eating peanut butter and jelly sandwich for years. Nothing else. Nothing else.
I've had people say, "Oh, but you're not doing this." And why would you force? Okay, so for me, what I don't like, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of. What am I not a fan of? Okay, there's certain foods I don't like, and I can't even remember what it is. Oh, I don't like mackerel.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't get me to eat mackerel, even if you served it on a diamond dish. I'm not eating it. So if I will not eat mackerel and I know I don't like it, why should I be forcing my child to eat something and then get him all upset? And then now we have a full blown tantrum and then it's just going crazy in here. I pick my battles.
We, as autism parents, we have to know how to pick our battles. It's for our sanity.
So even if it means that I make the chicken nuggets and I make it with and I add some potatoes, some sweet potatoes inside there or
Mm-hmm.
something to make it healthier,
Mm-hmm.
we do that.
People will say a lot. People don't. They will tell you you should have done this and you should have done that. Or if it was me, I could make them eat this and I will make. It
Then
is
you do
not
it.
It is not on our time,
Yeah, but then
and
you
not
do it. Come on down.
exactly.
Come on
Yeah,
down.
and not only that. the children sometimes they cannot handle certain textures of foods.
Yes, there are a lot. He has a lot of sensory issues.
Mm-hmm.
A lot. So um, he will eat grape. Well, grapes, for example, he will peel the skin off the grape and eat the skin, but he'll not eat the squishy part on the inside. He will eat the
Mm-hmm.
skin of the grape. Oranges he will not eat because again it's squishy on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Apples we will eat once in a while. Strawberries he will eat. Bananas once in a while. And I think that's the only fruit. Tried a piece of mango the other day, and that was it. I tried to get another piece there. No, but that's about it. He will eat ice cream and sometimes eat yogurt.
Mm.
So
It's a process.
it is.
It's
It's
a
a learning
process.
process. Um, Vitamins, for example, like I have to ensure that he's still healthy. So
Mm-hmm.
I will try to camouflage the stuff in popsicles, just name it. You have to be creative
Mm-hmm.
because if not, you're going to get frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
So think of a way to um, make uh, what I did some time ago. I made a smoothie and
Mm-hmm.
blended up the vitamins in it. Even given medication at one point was, you would think I was killing him. We have to hold him down, and kids on the spectrum have the strength of 50 lions.
Yes. And imagine little old us trying to hold these little children down.
Sometimes they're this fat
Uh-huh.
and they have strength of 50 lions. So giving medication at one point was a disaster.
Let's see what some
Now
of the
it's a lot easier.
yes, let me see some of the viewers have to say. So um Mel said Mel also has a daughter on the spectrum. She said,
Mhm.
wow, I'm lucky I've gotten married to try different kinds of foods.
Oh
Great.
boy, well, you want to switch
Yes.
children for a day?
I know. And she said they grow out of foods very quickly, and that is a true and valid statement. They grow out of food
Really?
really quickly.
And I'm still stuck on chicken nuggets 8 years later?
Listen now, hold up a second. At least you added something else, didn't you?
I
Slowly.
mean, slowly but surely,
Hmm.
we're adding little things.
Yes.
He had Surprisingly, he had mashed potatoes the other day, and he said he liked it. So
Little by little, I'm telling you, it's a process, little
yes.
by little, because Noah, I had to literally, people be laughing at me, I say, I always have to bribe Noah.
Oh my, no, that doesn't work for me.
I bribe him.
Mm-mm,
And now, like you said, now it doesn't work. He'll tell you, no, I'm good.
mm-mm.
He'll tell me straight up, no, I'm good.
He No, bribes did not work when it came to food. Bribes will work with other stuff. Like my son doesn't like to wear short pants. He doesn't
Okay.
like his knees out. So it could be 100 degrees here and he's in a long pants.
No, does the same thing too. And sometimes when he's in the long pants, I
Mhm.
bet you before the day is over, he's gonna be in his short. If he's in a short pants before the day is over, he's gonna be in his long pants.
There's no before the day is over. For me, it's a
Wow,
full blown meltdown if I try to put him in shorts.
wow.
He has
Hopefully,
one pair of shorts that he sleeps with, and it comes all the way down to the knee. Other than
they are
that,
different.
everything else is long pants. 100 degrees, -1, long pants.
Wow. Aliyah said, very informative information. Noah is so amazing. I'm learning from him all the time and always being surprised when he learns or does something new. Yes, that's my daughter. My
There you
daughter-in-law.
go.
Yes, yes. My daughter. You're like calling my daughter. Oh my goodness. I thought I was the only one because when the I got Noah to eat broccoli, and now he loves broccoli. And how I was able to do that, I had a friend of mine who came to spend some time with me for a little bit. And I'm telling her, I give Noah this, he's not eating it. I give Noah that, he's not eating. So she said, I'm gonna make him eat this. But she tried a couple of things, huh? And she said, you know what? Let's try it like this. So what she did, she said they like that little, they like to feel a little sweet something in their mouth. She said, if you put the broccoli, just boil the broccoli, wash it nicely, and put a little bit of salt in it, just enough so they could taste the salt. It makes it taste a little sweet. And I was skeptical. I'm going like, I don't know if this is gonna work. So she did it really good, and it was crunchy, and it was when I tasted as it had a little sweetness to it. Noah gobbled that down. That day, I think everybody was in the house. We were all four of us were just there jumping. Myself and two boys, and we were just jumping because we were so happy. And I'm calling everybody, Noah ate broccoli.
And people think that, yeah, he ate broccoli, so what? You have no
Mhm.
idea the excitement and how you feel. You feel like you've won $1 million.
Yes.
It's really an amazing feeling that when you see your child has done something new. Um, for ex- for example, we're still working on tying shoelaces.
Oh, Noah's 16 and he can't do that yet.
We're still working on tying shoelaces. I'm telling you, when we do get it done, it's going to be a cause for celebration.
Hmm.
So we just
I
take.
have tried. Lisa, I have tried and I have tried and I have put videos up there for him and have, but what I do realize with Noah is that his fingers, and I think it was the caseworker from Marcus Autism Center that told me that. She said his fingers, he has some sensory issues with his fingers. So for him to hold certain things, he's not gonna be able to hold it and touch
Mhm.
he doesn't like the feel of it. So
Feel of it.
and the tip of his fingers is not very strong. He will drop things and he'll not want to hold stuff like his
Mhm.
tiny shoelaces. That's difficult for him. And I have tried everything. I have put videos in front of him. I have said Noah over and over, over. He's just not getting it. I'm going like one day,
One day,
one
you
day.
might be surprised. He would just do it, and then you'd wonder, what? Wait a minute, you knew how to do this all along?
Yeah.
It's just one day. It's a lot of patience. It's a lot of patience.
And
It's
more
a lot of
patience.
patience. That's exactly what it is. There's no because I've noticed that my son feeds off my energy. So
Mm-hmm.
if I can be a hothead, I
Mm-hmm.
can. I'm putting it mildly. If I come in and I'm like, "Ah," all I'm getting back from him is aggression.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. So
So
it's real, Lisa. It's real.
it is.
They do feed off our energy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
You
remember
don't.
a couple of days ago. I think it was last week. I was mad. I'm going like, when I'm upset, I speak really, really fast. I know. I looked at me and said, he touched me literally. He said, "Is mommy okay?"
I
And
get
then
that.
he said, "Mommy needs to calm down."
Exactly. Yep. All you get is
I was,
aggression. If you
I
if you
was,
if you're upset, if
I'm
I
telling you,
speak to him rough, then I remember one day I was like, man, I was going on about I can't even remember what. And my son looked at me and said, "You talk too much." I was like, I took a deep breath and I thought, boy. And then I remembered, we've come a long way. Because a few years ago, you couldn't even make a sentence.
yes. And Lisa, this is one of the reasons I'm 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 listening to you and I'm seeing that our experiences are like mirror images. And then I'm sure there are other moms on there who have children with autism, and it really saddens me when people don't understand. They don't try to understand when they try to criticize. There's so much information out there. If somebody wants to learn about autism, they may not know every situation that we're going through,
But
but
there's a lot of information out there.
a
There's
lot.
and what to be honest, what annoys me is there are a few things. I have a few pet peeves when it comes to autism. So my son stims a lot. So he makes surprisingly train sounds,
Mm-hmm.
right? So he stims.
Mm-hmm.
And of course everybody's looking like, okay, why don't you make him be quiet? Stimming is how he learns to regulate his mind, his body, and to calm himself down. It is
Mm-hmm.
annoying for those of you who have children. It is annoying, and let's be real, because sometimes it is you're exhausted, you're trying to record something, you're trying to do something, you're trying to concentrate, and then he goes,
Mm-hmm.
come on. Sometimes he can do it and then you can not hear. And I've had somebody call my child retarded. I've had, you know, the bad looks, the turning up the noses, and all kinds of stuff. There was a few years ago, I was coming from work, and I used to take him to Dunkin' Donuts on a Friday. So of course he knew that, and that day I bought him something else. So me trying to explain, okay, mommy bought you something else, is in those shopping bags. So we're coming, I have about 4 shopping bags, my bag, him, his bag from school, and we're trying to cross the street. And full blown tantrum, my son laid down on Bedford Avenue on a Friday after 5 minutes to 6.
Oh
Busy.
my goodness.
The bus is trying to come down. Of course, he's lying down on the road. Horns. When I tell you, he held up traffic. At that point, I wanted to jump. I was praying, please let the road open. Just jump in and leave him there. Somebody will figure it out. But of course, that's not happening. I have to now be a parent and put some order because it's utter chaos.
Mm-hmm.
I grabbed him by his coat and I literally dragged him across the street with all the bags and everything, literally dragging this child across the street. And I got to the other side, and this lady said to me, I can't believe you dragged the child across the street. What kind of parent are you?
Your son is struggling with him. Did anybody come and help?
Was Pardon me?
My eye is itching me.
I'm going to come to put your eye drop shortly. Say hi.
Hi.
Hi, sweetie. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I think I'm having allergies.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Did you rub it with something?
Yeah, yes I did.
Okay, mommy's gonna take care of
Can I
vitamins.
taste this?
Okay.
I'm going to come to put your eye drops for you shortly. Just give me a few
You
more
wanna put your
minutes.
eye-
I will come. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So go back to the room. I'll see you in a
Thank
bit.
you.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Can I have my Minecraft?
All right. In the room. In the room.
Can I play with it?
In a bit. In the room, please. Thank you. Are you being obedient? Yes. So listen, I felt all the blood drain from my body that Friday night. I'm not going to say what I said to the lady because it's not socially
Appropriate.
appropriate, because I was fuming. And she looked at me like, I think my son stopped crying because the way I lashed out at her, I think he himself was in shock. So he stood up and we walked home, utter silence.
But the thing is, Lisa, people will see you going through these situations,
And it's
and instead of
judgment.
Yeah, instead of trying to help, they will criticize you. They will not lend a hand. I remember one night I was walking, I was trying to get Noah was trying to run through the streets, and I was trying to get him. And I think I told that story. I was trying to get him not to go to the streets. So he taking out his clothes, his pants, everything. Somebody saw me struggling with Noah. Instead of helping me, they call the police. Instead of helping me, they saw me literally sometimes I'd be on the ground on my knees, helping him no come back. They called the police and I said, I would have slapped you, silly. And I'm not a violent person. I was so mad. I'm always calm. I'm like, so you could not at least help me? Or you called the
Um,
cops instead?
oh yeah, I got the call, the cops call on us already. So of course, during COVID, everything is different. We're not going out. We're inside. So he's running from the room. We have a long corridor. He's running
Mm.
from the room to the door and back. Running. There's a tenant downstairs. There's somebody downstairs. And she called the cops and asked them if I cannot tie the child to a chair because he's disturbing her. The officer came to knock on my door. He's like, ma'am, what's going on? We have a noise complaint. I'm like, sir, I understand, but it's ahead of COVID. Of course, I don't want my son to get sick. We're trying to avoid. This is the situation. I pulled all my paperwork and I showed him what it is, and he's like, oh, okay, I understand. I said, I try to keep it down. I said, if it's annoying her downstairs, you could imagine how much it's annoying me because he's just literally running up and down. Yeah, I've had notes left on my door telling me that the longest rope has an end. I've yeah, it's at first it used to bother me, and I would feel like, oh my god, maybe I need to move, maybe I need to. I'm like, no, it's not excessive to the point where he's doing it at midnight and 1 o'clock in the morning. It's being done during the day, and it's not all the time. He needs to self-regulate. Who's doing it for him? I can't do it for him. So I don't even. I'm at a point where it's word off my back.
Yes.
It's
I'll
like,
tell you this. I'm going to say this to the viewers who are listening to us who do not know, who do not have a who are not educated enough about autism. If you want to do your research on autism, go just put in autism, the autism spectrum, and see the amount of information that's going to come. And I'm saying this to say, autistic parents who have children on the spectrum, we are humans just like you.
mhm.
We have feelings, we have the more that we can take. And you couldn't imagine one day in our shoes unless you have your own
Your
situation.
own situation.
In the, yes, you couldn't imagine one day in our shoes. We can tell you this is what we go through, but can you imagine doing this every day for years upon years,
Yep.
and we don't get the respect that we deserve? Our relationships are strained. My son's father did not want to accept that my son doesn't have autism. I had to be a single parent to an autistic child, and I'm still a single parent. People are ashamed of
Because
us.
especially in, I think, in our Caribbean,
Community.
community,
Community.
what I'm looking for.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Hmm.
We have this. There's a stigma attached to
Hmm.
children who are differently abled.
Hmm.
So if your child has Down syndrome, or your child has Down syndrome, and everybody is staying away from your child.
Hmm.
Before I moved here, I lived in Grenada for a while, and then when I was pregnant with my first son, I remember coming to work, and the bus used to pick up the kids going to the special school, the specialized school, and they would be waiting pretty for the bus on my where I would pass on my route. And I remember one day this little girl who has Downs, the little girl just came and she gave me one big hug. Now, I'm not a hugger. I don't like people to hug me. People I don't know, like you're touching me. Some, to be honest, I have not got tested yet, and I think I will. I think I see so many similarities with me and my son that I think I will one day get if I'm
Just
tested.
for to be on the spectrum.
Because ooh, just thinking about somebody touching me is going to drive me crazy. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I'm standing there like, should I hug her back? You know, and every morning when I passed, it was morning. You know, I got the most love from those children who had no idea who I was, and who, and that for me was my first eye opener. The second thing for me was another time I was here. I had moved to the US and I was walking, and there was this mother. At that time, I had no idea my son was on the spectrum. He was pretty young, and there was this mother who has a son and he has Tourette's. Something triggered him, and he was using the F word. And people were looking at her and turning up their nose. And some lady made some comments, and I'm like, why don't you shut up? I don't know the people. I have no idea who they are. I'm like, why don't you shut up? I said, people like you who make her life harder. And that lady and I said to her, Mom, you're doing a good job. If I see the lady again, I'm not even going to know who she is, because it was just, and that lady bawled for like 15 minutes. Of course, now she's hugging me and I'm thinking, cringing, but you know, we have to learn to put the judgment on a back burner and learn to be each other's support, each other's keeper. I could not have done anything that I have done here without support. They've had days I have had to call my sister and say, come and get Kennard. I don't know what to do. I can't function and I'm losing it. I've had days where, and they come because when I call, they come because they know I'm at my wit's end. So having that support will make even one of the worst days feel bad. I mean, when I tell you I've had some really off days.
What?
I've had some bad days.
What? I see that. I see it.
I've had some bad days. Will I hold it against him?
No.
I can't.
Okay.
Because when I look back, the bad days do not outweigh the good days.
No, they don't.
They don't ever outweigh the good days. Will I love him less? Will I love him? I mean, at the time I'm pissed off, like, stay away. But when things calm down, I don't love him any less.
No.
So, you know, having somebody you can talk to, having somebody you can scream at if that's what it is to get it out is a plus. Find your person. Everybody has a person. Don't feel that that only one, you know, amongst millions. You are not only one amongst millions. There are millions, maybe millions among one, but we are going through something. There are a lot of us. There's somebody out there who understands and who has lived through or who is living through what you are going through. Find your person. Reach
and
out.
It is important that we get that time to ourselves, just away from them, even for a day or 2 days, because we need time to regroup, to refocus, because at the same time that we are helping them through their journey, We are in that journey with them, and it is taking a toll on us.
It does.
It is taking a toll on us. And I remember when it was just me and him and my oldest son. Not many people understood. There were very few people that understood. And I'm thankful for my daughter-in-law when she came into our lives. She may not have understood everything autism was, but she played a different role.
Mm-hmm.
Because now this is somebody he liked, okay? And this is somebody I could talk to. This is somebody who could take him for a day or two. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get that. There are not many people who took him. I remember one, his father's people, his father's, I think, uncle or something. He came and he got him for a little bit. And that gave me a relief. And I'm the parent who doesn't go nowhere. I don't do anything. I'm always in the house and I go to do groceries. I have to, if he's home with my older son, I have to run back. Or I will go with him. And when we go, he cannot stand a lot of things outside. Now, Noah is so much better.
It's nice.
Unless son is going to get it to it is he's so much better. And that's what I was trying to say to people. Don't look down on us. When you say I tell you my child did good at school today, or my child ate this today. Celebrate with us.
Exactly.
Celebrate with us instead of criticizing. Choose your words wisely, because we are always up here. Always up here. Let me
You,
tell you what
you don't have
yeah,
a
let me
choice but to be.
yeah,
Because
let
you
me
always
tell you
have
what
to be in control. I mean, there are times that you just you everything is going so haywire that you have no control over anything. But you always have to make sure that you are 5, 10 steps ahead to be prepared for what may come. If it doesn't
yes.
come, thank God you can lie down and sleep. But when it does come, you have to be prepared. You can't be taken off guard.
Mm-hmm. And so we need that support. I was reading something, and I was reading about a parent who has autistic children and the support and whatever. And this is what it says. It says supporting a parent with an autistic child involves providing emotionally, practically, and informational assistance. We
Practical.
go through yeah, practical help, informational assistance, providing emotional help. And it went on to say that we suffer through so much. Our stress increases, our anxiety and depression. It leads to all of these things. And these are unique challenges. So it says the demands of caring for the child, including the behavioral challenges, the seeking support and navigating especially the complex health system. It can bring high amounts of stress to us. We go through depression. We go to caregiver syndrome, the constant caregiving responsibility. It's exhausting, guys. It brings about guilt and anger. You said about the guilt earlier. Like probably what did you do something wrong for the child to get autism? It has an emotional strain on us, our social and financial strain, because a lot of us, we cannot go to work if we don't have help, and putting them in the system sometimes is difficult. There's a stigmas involved in raising a child with a different ability, we call it.
Mm-hmm.
People judge us, and that causes even more stress, and then it causes us isolation, because then if my child is going to behave like that and people are going to judge me, then what's the point of going out and bringing him in public when he's gonna cause him to have a meltdown? You understand what I'm saying? So there's a lot of it affects us in a lot of negative ways. A lot. It can have a strain in our relationships. There's a point I also say to myself, I am not getting a husband, or somebody's not looking at me, because they may looking at me and say, I don't want to deal with this woman with that child with a disability, with autism. And men have said it to me. I don't know if I can handle being with a woman who has a child with a disability.
And you know what? I would not look at it in a negative light,
Mm.
because if you and I thank people for being honest,
Mm-hmm.
because not everybody is cut out to handle a child or anybody on the spectrum or with a different ability. Some people
Mm-hmm.
are not.
Yes.
Some people, some people are born doctors or they learn to become a doctor and they're able to do stuff. Me, nope. I would not be a good doctor. I would not be a I would not be a good police officer.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's not for me.
Let's see what some of our guests.
Yeah, go ahead.
One of our earlier said, "People are shameful. No type of humanity or understanding. You guys are so strong. Thank you, Leah." And Lucita said, "Good evening, good evening, everyone. Cindy and Des. Good evening, and guests. Good evening to you, Lucita. How are you, sweetheart? Continue."
Yeah. So, you know, if somebody knows that you're not able to deal with it, thank you. It was nice meeting you. Go on your merry way. Because I don't
Mm,
want you to think that you're gonna come and you want to stress me too. I have enough to deal with. Thank you for being honest.
mm-hmm,
All well and good. Keep it moving.
mm-hmm. And I appreciate that. That they are
Anybody who
honest.
anybody who cannot who knows for sure that they cannot deal with it.
And what I've come to realize is that I remember the man, the first, autism parent, the father that was on the show. He said his wife, before they had their son, the mother never had high blood pressure, and when they got that child was diagnosed, her blood pressure was skyrocketing. And I remember myself, I never suffered with high blood pressure, never, until my son. I started to deal with my son. I was not sleeping. Sometimes I wasn't eating right. Most of the times I wasn't eating right because I couldn't afford to buy two sets of food. So whatever he was eating, I was going to eat. And then, if I decide, okay, I'm going to eat what I want to eat, then he wouldn't eat it. I can see my son, my child going hungry. And so it's a lot of sacrifices that we make. And so if somebody cannot deal with that, that's fine,
That's fine.
because it creates a level of mental stress for us. It
Yeah,
affects our mental
it's not
health.
necessary. It's not you
Yeah.
don't need that extra
Yeah.
burden, that extra stress added on to
Mm-hmm.
all what you have to deal with already. So
Mm-hmm.
um again, I have my circle.
Mm-hmm.
I have my circle.
Mm-hmm.
Um I would say one person in my circle has a son who is on the spectrum. And
Mm-hmm.
listen, when I tell you she's my backbone, she's my backbone.
Mm-hmm.
The others, I think they're all my backbone. I think I have a big back. No, I have a big back.
You know,
I have a big back. So I have a few backbones because
yes.
without them, believe you me, it's utter chaos in the world. I can't function. You
Mm-hmm.
must. I'm telling you, people. It sounds like I'm being redundant. Find your person or persons.
It
Find
is
them.
a
You're
it
there.
is important to have a support system. It is
One of the
important.
things one before I there are a lot of Facebook groups. And
Mm-hmm.
that was where I realized I am not an alien. People are going through the same thing. And I'm like, when I read some of the some of the experiences that some parents are having, I'm like, oh wow. I'm not the only one going through this. There are Facebook groups that will give you some hope, some encouragement.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes some of the stuff that you have to wonder, oh Lord Jesus. Sometimes I read certain things and I'm like, I'm thankful for what I have because some of the things that some people are going through,
I don't know if I'll be able to deal with it either.
exactly. So find ways to de-stress, find ways to talk about what you are going through. But it has to be a judgment-free zone. You can't talk to
Yeah.
somebody who's maybe never been through what you are going through, or never has no understanding of what you're going through, and not expect to and don't expect to be judged.
Mm-hmm.
Because maybe if you had I had seen my son acting up, or somebody with a child acting up in the street, and I'm like, oh no, what happened to the child? Why that mother cannot, until,
Control her child. Yes, yes.
you know. So
Mm-hmm.
get like-minded people, people who have an idea of what you are going through, how you know what your struggle is on a daily basis, and find your
Mm-hmm.
person or find your people.
It's important. So, Lisa, what do you do for self-care?
Oh, self-care.
You know that's important for us. We need it. What do you do
Long
for self-care?
showers. So now self-care has become a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
Self-care has become a lot easier. Um, my bathroom time is part of my self-care.
Mm-hmm.
Taking my shower and not having any disturbances. I wake up earlier so that I
Mm-hmm.
can have that hour where
Mm-hmm.
nobody do not talk to me, ask me no questions. That just throws off my whole day. If anybody
Mm-hmm.
wakes up during my hour of for myself, it throws off my whole day.
Mm-hmm.
So I do wake up earlier so I can have that me time. Um, One of my backbones, for example, when there's no school and I have to go to work, she takes my son.
Mm-hmm.
So, I have, like, now, I have some free time. Um, yeah, pretty much that's it. You know, his father takes him off and on,
Mm-hmm.
right now they're there. Um, yeah, but you have to start off with the things, the practical things. So even if it's 10 minutes in your bathroom, you can spend 10 minutes just on your own, doing something just by yourself. Even if you just sit on the toilet.
Mm-hmm. I
It's
remember this. Go ahead.
so that's it's my self-care is not anything major where I'm going to the spa for 2 days or 5 weeks. No, it's the
Mm-hmm.
simple things.
Mm-hmm.
It's the simple things.
There are times I need to get away from my house.
Well, yeah, that too.
I need to get away from my house sometimes. I need to get away. I remember there was one time Noah's tablet. Now, mind you, when he was older, when he was younger, it was
On a
way more
tablet.
difficult. When he was younger, I think I know everything about Elmo, everything about Thomas the Train. I think I know every single one of them. They are so annoying to me, right? If I hear Thomas the Train, I don't want to hear it anymore because it's stuck in my ears because that's repeatedly everything. That's all we used to say. Thomas the Train or Elmo. Thomas the Train or Elmo. And I remember there was one time his tablet broke. He used to watch it on his tablet as well as TV. And the tablet broke. He was literally in my face every day. No one want new tablet. No one new tablet. No one new tablet. When you go back to, I want my tablet. He used to throw charger, throw things, throw ball at my TV, break things.
Yep.
I'm gonna
It's
somebody to get that child.
Don't ask for how many tablets have you had to purchase, Cindy?
A couple.
Oh, a couple.
A couple.
I should have kept all what I've had.
They're breaking it a lot. If
Let
that
the
boy,
tablet die. Let the tablet die.
oh my goodness, they're breaking it. I tell you, listen, guys, we sit here, we talk about it, and when we have a smile on our face, the struggle is real. It is real as
Or the
real can
internet,
be.
or the internet is being spotty, and it cuts off, and so is the video is not buffering fast enough. Meltdown.
We, guys, we are not saying this just to say, we are saying this to help you understand what we go through as autism parents, what we go through, the challenges that we go through, and we are still Here, we can tell you from now to Tuesday until you stay in our house and you live a day in it. You're not gonna get it.
It's a joy, it's a stress, it's everything wrapped up in one big bundle. Would I change anything? No. I think having my son has taught me a lot more about myself as well. It has made me check myself a lot. My attitude sometimes, because I can be a big Grinch sometimes. And it has had me, I have had to check myself, like, maybe because you're grumpy, maybe that's why he's grumpy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that you have to be all jolly all the time. Nope. But sometimes I had to really check myself. So I wouldn't I wouldn't change I wouldn't change him for the world. I wouldn't.
And these are my sentiments exactly. I wouldn't change him for the world. We would we rather our child be a normal child? But
What's normal?
what experience would have had taught us? You
What's
know,
normal?
what's that?
What's normal?
All of us are little broken, sweetheart.
And we still
All of
color.
us. And we still color. Yes. So I wouldn't change him. We wouldn't change our children for the world. You know, in everything in life, there are challenges.
Yeah.
Everything in life, there's challenges. And we are allowed certain situations, not because we go like, oh, I don't know if I can do this.
I
We
don't know if I
allowed it.
can do this. I still think that I can do it sometimes.
Yeah, we allowed it because God knows we can do it. He knows our strength. Now, there are certain people who cannot tolerate certain things and experiences. When they're in the situation, it humbles them. It teaches them to be different people. Okay. For me, I always knew that I was a very patient person. I remember my grandmother used to say, you have patience to feed a red ant with a spoon. I'm gonna, grandma, what you saying? I'm thinking to myself, what is she saying? She told me that a couple of times when we were sitting together. She said, Cindy, you have patience to feed a red ant with a spoon. But let me tell you, if I had patience then, is now I have patience because that child has taught me to just calm yourself down, woman. Calm
For me,
yourself down
it was
and
the
just
other way
hold up.
around. It
What's
was,
that?
it was the other way around. I was the most impatient person in the world. If
Wow.
you ask me to come to meet you at 10 o'clock and 5 past 10, you're not there, I'm gone. I'm gone. Don't look for me. Don't ask me to come back. I don't have time. I'm gone.
What's up, buddy? Hold on. You okay? Okay. What you want? Okay, he on his business gonna look for his brother.
So it has taught me to really be patient. Really. I have learned to be patient because when I tell you I was the most impatient person, very, 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 and I couldn't be bothered who it was. You say something I don't like,
You
response right
snapping.
away. Right
Mm-hmm.
right away. I'm still
Mm-hmm.
like that sometimes. I have learned to tone down a lot. Those past 10 years, me 10 years prior to me 10 years now,
Mm-hmm.
two different people.
So, what are some of the things that your son has accomplished that has given you the, I wouldn't say the hope, but I'm trying to phrase it in the right way. What are some of his accomplishments and what gives you, I would say, hope towards the future that he can someday live by himself without you? How independent has he become?
He can dress himself now. he can form a sentence. My son couldn't make us a complete sentence at one point. He couldn't do that. Um, he can do things like take a shower by himself, brush his teeth. Things that seem so every child's supposed to be able to do that. No, that was a task. Um, what else? So in the morning when the bus comes, before I would go stand outside, wait till the bus comes. Now he knows what time his bus is coming and he's out the door to go get his bus. Sometimes I don't even have to go. He can make his own sandwich. He can prepare stuff for himself to eat. So, that's a lot of the that's some of the accomplishments.
I'm smiling because it is such a joy to hear you say that,
Mhm.
because I remember when Noah was there as well, when he started to I thought my older son, I teach my children early to do stuff for themselves, that's how we are. And Noah started to make he Noah was making his food at a very early age as well. He irons his own clothes. Like your son, he goes to the bus by himself. If you see, I get up in the morning now and I decide, okay, Noah, get up. I want you to wash your face. He looks at me like, I don't need you. He will literally tell me, go, mommy, go to room. He will tell me, go to the room. So as they get older, I realize as Noah has gotten older, my life has gotten a little bit, it has a bit more calm to it, because he's understanding himself. He's learning to be even more independent than he was. I teach Noah how to do everything,
Mhm.
everything, and it is important that we, like you said, we don't treat them as an egg, because they are going to go. We are not bringing them up for ourselves. They may spend most of their lives with us, but at some point in their life they're going to go out into
You're
the
here.
community, into the world, and they would have to learn how to be, cope the best way that they can. And we are the ones that have to teach them these things, because the world is not going to do it for us. It's not
Mhm.
going to do it for them.
And it's not the world as it is now is not um I'm going to use disability friendly.
Mm-hmm.
It's not it's not so we have to teach them to survive in turbulent waters,
Yes.
because if not, it's going to swallow them up.
Yeah. And if you have a child on the spectrum, it is important, like right now, that you start making preparations for that child.
Oh God. Yeah.
And I am not saying that lightly, because we don't know what is going to happen to us when we walk down the street tomorrow. And we wouldn't want anything to happen to us as parents and our child is not well taken care of. That is the hardest thing for me personally. I think I lose sleep over that. What is going to happen to my child when and if I do, when I close my eyes in there? Even if I know I put all the provision that make sure that he has something to live on, he has a job, he can do this, he can do that. I still am thinking, how is he going to cope with me, knowing that I have always been there and I'm not there? How is he going to cope with that? So as tough as it is to mention and it is to say, Lisa, we have got to put things in place for our children in the event that something happens to us. And I'm saying that to everyone who has a child on the spectrum, everyone who knows somebody who has a child on the spectrum, encourage them to put things in place for that child. There are resources, and yes, it is an uphill battle sometimes,
Mhm. Ooh,
but you have to do it.
that's for another show.
Mm-hmm. It is. But Lisa, I know you just came from work, and I don't want to keep you too long because I know you have to go and take care of the baby. And there's so many things I could say. There's so many things I wanted to talk, but I'm gonna have another. I want to say that I'm gonna put it out there, probably in a month or so, because I'm putting it together.
Mm-hmm.
I've had this on my to-do list from since last year,
Mm-hmm.
but I want to do it this year. And I couldn't do it this month at Autism because I wanted to hear stories of people. I wanted to bring male as well as female on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I want to have a webinar. I'm putting it together where I invite different parents and we talk about the issues that are really pressing. Like we verbalize, we just have a conversation among us
Mm-hmm.
and just bounce back on different ideas and just talk about some of the things that some of the parents don't want to talk about.
Talk about. Yeah.
There are, things, there are things we don't talk about.
No.
There, are, yeah, and
That's a fact.
and how we can navigate the system to make lives better for our children, especially when they leave school. Now they're about to graduate.
Because
A
autism
lot.
does not stop when you leave school.
No, it does not.
It does not. So
It's not.
it is
They're
some.
going to they're going to adults with autism.
It's
Yeah.
life.
Mhm.
You don't stop. Um. No. Maybe that's not something I should say because that might rub somebody else the wrong way. You know, if I have. Yeah. Let's leave it at that. That example would, yeah, that's gonna ruffle some feathers and I don't want to. Not on the program.
Maybe it could be a conversation starter. Who
No,
knows?
no, 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 no,
That
no,
was
no.
okay.
Mm-mm.
Listen,
That's
I want to thank I
some
want to
feathers.
say thank you to all of you who's watching. There are a lot of people who came on after us. I don't know if everybody's still there, but Tyrone Jiggy Max is there. Natalie Satterley is there. I keep saying that last name wrong. Michelle St. Louis, Narcissus Claudia, Linda Jackson, Stephen John. I call in everybody. Cynthia Fontenelle, Melissa Smith Browder, and Tessie. How are you? So there are a lot of people who've been watching. We had a good number of people watching us tonight. You know, we want the support of the community, we want the support of each other, but we also understand that not everybody's going to understand where we are as parents with children on the spectrum. Not everybody's going to understand, not everybody going to understand the fears that we face, not everybody's going to understand the struggles that we face every single day, the bad days and the good days and the days when we want to pull our hair. I know that many times I want to pull out my hair. There are times my hair had fallen out so many times just from the stress of not sleeping, of worrying, of not how am I going to be able to take care of? No, there's so many things that go through our mind on a daily basis, and we cannot prevent it. At the same time, we don't need the negativity.
The negativity.
We don't need it.
But I have learned also that sometimes it's not all the time. Sometimes I use the negativity and as I consider it as sandpaper.
Mm-hmm.
So the more you scratch, you use the sandpaper, you scratch, you scratch on the surface. The
Mm-hmm.
surface now becomes nice and smooth. The sandpaper becomes useless. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the negativity, I use it as sandpaper. Some days it can really, if you do not have an outlet to release or to vent, or again, if you do not have that person, then the negativity can really drown you.
Mm-hmm.
If you do not have somebody, something to be able to help you relax, then the negativity can drown you. So for me, at right now, I use that as sandpaper. Keep polishing me, I'll glow.
Yes. Today, it may be us in this situation. Tomorrow, it could be you. Could be a grandbaby. It could be your niece. It could be somebody you know who love and you care about.
Mm-hmm.
So, like Lucida said, please share the live. People need to hear that program. Yes. I encourage every time everybody to share my lives and to subscribe to my page because I am bringing a lot of valuable information to the viewers. The experiences are not just for show. I don't do this for show. I do this because I want to help people. To help people understand they are not alone. We may think that we don't need people, but we do need
We
people.
do.
We do need each other. We do. There are days when I'm going through the worst day in my life. I'm in my room. But you know what brings me joy? Sometimes just to be able to come on here and to know that I have a special person that I can bring that can empower somebody else, that can inspire somebody else. I have spent years, guys, years just being indoors, not going anywhere, not doing anything per se. I hardly ever go to an event. It's if I have to, I can count the number of places I've been on my finger,
Mm-hmm.
on my hand, because I hardly ever go anywhere because I have that child with that disability, and I have to protect him. I have to go. I have to rock the boat that he's rocking and try to steer him so that his boat. We both don't think.
True.
So it is a very tough. It is a very tough responsibility we're taking on there as autistic parents, but at the same time, it is a joy because these are our kids. Nobody else can do it like we can. Nobody else knows our children like we do. I know that Lisa's son has autism, but I don't know Lisa's son. I do not know how she deals with him on a daily basis based on his special ability.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Because her son and my son are two different children on the spectrum with two different qualities and two different ways they handle things. So there's a lot that we need to learn, and I'm going to continue advocating for autism. I'm going to be doing more, especially for those single parents who just don't have nothing to stand on, who are alone and they feel. The sad thing is, I know there are some autistic parents who just cannot do it, and some of them have taken their lives.
Oh, wow.
They're at the end of their rope and just wishing somebody could tell them, hey, I got you. So I want to be able to help in that regard. And I want to do something to be able to help them. I know there are a lot of groups doing a lot of things, but this is my passion. I love helping people because I know people have helped me and they continue to help me.
Sure.
And if it wasn't for people, I wouldn't be here today. That autistic son that I have, and people look down on him so much, and they look down on me and they criticize me. He was the one who saved my life when I was at the end of my rope. When I said I couldn't take it anymore, I don't think I'm a good mother to him. So many people are doing so many things to me, and I took that hydrocodone. I'm going to say that story every single time I talk about it because I want people to understand how hard it has been. When I couldn't do it anymore and I was going through so much, I put the hydrocodone in my mouth, in my the whole bottle of pill, in 800 millimeters. I don't know, something like that. In millimeters. I took the whole thing. I put it in my, put it in my, put it in my hand, put it in my mouth, and lay down on my bed. I said, "That's it. I don't want to leave anymore." And that autistic child stayed in his room, and he burst out the heartiest piece of laughter you can think of, and it pulled me out. I had to get open my eyes and just say, "What the hell are you doing?" I
Mm.
threw it out. That was the point for me when I said, I will never do that. I will never try to hurt that child in any way. And because I have two children, I have three children, and I have those that are adopted as my own. And I found my strength from there and with other people who called on. Who there was a friend of mine. He's in the army, and then he spent 2.5 hours on the phone with me. talking me out of not doing it. After my son got me, and I told him I was, he talked me out. And so that autistic child has saved my life, and he continues to save my life because every time I look at him, I think of how blessed I am
That you
to
are.
have that child in my life.
Amen.
So take it from me, it is not an easy road, but we are doing it. And I need to applaud you, Lisa, for everything that you've done for your son and for your other children. You are standing like a warrior queen, like you are, because we are warriors. We just in a different battle.
Because sometimes I want to be I don't want to be on the strongest soldier list some days, but
And I can totally relate to that because
some days I want to
strong,
be chilling. But
yes,
it is what it is. Like I said, I wouldn't change it for a world for the world. And to any other parents of children on the spectrum, you know, I just want to say that you are doing an amazing job. You are the voice and you are the advocate for your children. Keep fighting for them. Keep working to ensure that they have a better life moving forward. And you know, again, find your person.
thank you, Lisa.
Find your
And
person.
if you are watching this in the Caribbean, I want to say this to you. And I've heard it said in Africa as well. Our autistic children are not demonized.
Oh Lord, yes, I heard that too.
They don't have demons, sweetheart. They are not supposed to be in a corner and alienated from people. They are people just like us, and they need love and they need attention. And we need to stop stigmatizing. We need to stop stigmatizing autism. Embrace those children. Embrace them. Embrace them because they need us and we need each other. We need to be a community. Lisa, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you. I love you. I love you. And I will somebody's calling me to do my business on there. I love you. And take care of yourself. And guys, this is Poetry and Perspective with Placid, where I bring awareness to autism, mental illness, and everything else in between. And I advocate for so many. I just anything that is worth it, worth bringing awareness to, I do it. But I just don't discuss politics and religion. Thank you for being here, Lisa. I appreciate you, and I know I want to be working closely with you because I want to do for some things for the autism community. Okay. But I love you. Have a good night, everyone. Please share the lives. Give me some stars, and then subscribe to my page, okay? And if you want to hear more, you can always go back and look at the live. And there's so many. There's this month has been very impactful. So there's the other stories of parents with children with autism. So just you can get a lot from this. So I love you, resilient risers. Have a good night, and we are going to talk soon. Lisa, thank
Good
you again.
night. Good night. You're welcome. Have a good night.